Hello and welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast this evening. Tonight we have a wonderful, beautiful guest who is here, Miss Randi Moxi. And before we start talking to her, let's jump into this.
I'm April Tribe Juke. Welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast. I believe we are all made with light, and light is hope. This podcast brings authors who write stories of hope to all of you. Your journey to be inspired and amplified by these stories starts now.
And we are back. Welcome, everybody, to the Beacon of Light podcast. If you are here for your first time, please put it down below. Please go ahead and get to that YouTube channel, like and subscribe. And we are so excited to share this light with you tonight. All right. So, Miss Randi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
First of all, thank you for having me. I am thrilled to be here. I have worn many hats or crowns in my life, and when COVID hit, I experienced trauma just like everyone else, but an additional trauma with repetitive injury that left me on my back. And I work a lot with dog rescue, and I had helped a friend of mine with a particular reactive case that she had pulled, and we had to see how she worked with men. And so I phoned in my husband, because when you need help, you phone a friend. And he met her, and then it ended up being that he was her person. So she came to be with us, and she and I worked through healing PTSD together, and we wrote a book as part of that process.
Hold up that book again. Okay, as you guys can see running on the ticker underneath there, this is called a Pittie Pool Party. All right, so let's just bring up the title here. Pittie. Tell us about that. What does that name stand for?
It's an endearing term for a pit bull type dog.
Awesome. And it does sound a little bit sweeter, right?
Yes. Yes.
Pittie.
It doesn't have nearly as much of the negative stigma that is pushed on them by the media.
Right. And the whole concept really is, look at what a label categorizes or pigeonholes an animal in this particular case. It could be with people. And the more we label or try to identify, it really can put you in a category where you think, oh, well, these are the things, the characteristics, the aspects that must be along with this.
Yes.
But in that stereotyping, negativity can really happen. And that's not the case that you discovered with this sweet dog. And what is the dog's name?
Her name is Pearl.
I love it. I love it. And share a little bit about how pearls are made and why this is such a beautiful concept for this particular dog.
Well, the gem of a pearl is the only gem that's created inside another creature, which I love that notion that there is a cohabitation of things on earth that are creating this beautiful gem that doesn't have to be cut or treated afterwards. It's just perfect as is, ready for show.
I love that. It is ready for show. And there's something very simple, but so valuable in understanding how it was formed. All gems, of course, are precious, but this is something, I think there's something more, something deeper, because it shines in a way that really has a beauty that I would say is subtle, but strong, right? Pearls are very, very strong. And thinking about maybe strong wills of people and of animals, share with us a little bit about Pearl herself.
Well, I also love that a pearl is born and becomes beautiful because of trauma. It's just a grain of sand that's placed inside another creature, and the trauma that occurs results in this beautiful phoenix rising, if you will. And every single one is individual and different. And that is really what we have to get to. Is not judging a person based on their look or a prejudgment based on a breed for an animal. If you are judging any creature or human, it can harm them and it can harm us. And I did a little bit of judging in training her. And most of it was on myself because I felt like a failure because I couldn't find a way to reach her. So instead of falling into that pit, I decided to phone a friend, because when you're a trainer, when you're a coach, when you're learning, and we're always learning, you have an arsenal of people that know better than you, or are smarter than you, or have more expertise in some sort of realm. And not only was this woman a beautiful counselor for humans, she was also an animal communicator like me. And when I phoned that friend, she started laughing and said, "Are you ready?" And I knew truth was coming, accountability was coming, and I welcomed it. I said, "Absolutely." She said, "My darling, she's you as a dog." And when you heal your PTSD, you're going to figure out how to figure out hers and how to heal hers.
That's very, very, I want to say the word really revealing, right?
Yes.
It gets you in such a vulnerable place.
Yeah, my clam was opened.
That's so true.
Revealed.
Here I am. Nothing's hiding now because of the love for another living creature. And this creature happens to be a Pittie and somebody that really needed help.
Yeah.
And you were looking at the same mirror image, so to speak, within that emotional trauma, and finding ways to heal you is helping to heal her. It's just, I think it's so remarkable that animals really can have that reflective quality in so many ways. And what a surprise, I'm sure, for you, because PTSD, we like to put that over there for, look, wait, got to still hide it. Hang on, not coming out. And now you've got this dog like, rough, it's coming now.
Not only that, April, I had never been told that. I had been through such a journey of being told so many negative things about my health, and my mental health was affected. And I went to therapy. I did everything I could to be better, get better, learn more. I read every book. Not one time did any of those licensed professionals ever mention the term PTSD. My health journey started when I was 18 years old. I'm 44. I was 41 the first time I heard someone say PTSD. And boy, did she get it right.
Yeah, that awakening when those things happen. What happened when you felt like, whoa, this might really be something I need to look into? Was it, okay, let's start counseling? Let me grab all the books. What did you do with the PTSD? What did you do with that?
I started reading up on it, doing a lot of research. I reached out to people that I knew that were in the holistic healing realm and asked for resources, ways to unwind the damage, how to define what it was. And I kind of started a personal journey, because the counseling that I had gone through, and I'm open to all ways of doing things, but some things don't work for all people. If I had to tell the same dang story over and over and over again and never be given any tools to do better, to act better, to feel better, to make that story go away, to make my body feel better about that story, to never have to tell it again, I think there should be an end game when it comes to counseling. But every single counselor I went to, every single week it was the same. Tell me about how you feel. Tell me about this story. Tell me this story again. And it was just very repetitive. But Sam really opened my eyes to a different way to do it, to visualize, to take a step into the healing and going back into where the disconnect started that created the inflammation, that created the trauma. But again, we didn't talk about trauma or PTSD or any of those things. We just visualized and helped heal. And it was so much more magical. And I instantly just felt and saw a difference. And so that's what worked for me. That's why she's the friend that I phoned. And immediately, whenever I started asking all of my other holistic practitioners, which are in completely different worlds, applied kinesiology, acupuncture, Chinese medicine, and they said, define it, figure it out and define it. And I grew up in an animal shelter, and I saw a lot of animal abuse with very young eyes. I saw women trying to save the least of us in creatures, and the abandoned, the abused, the broken. I saw how illness would come through and take them all out, and it was emotionally very taxing. They were completely drawn over empathy. It was very traumatic for them. It was traumatic for me as a child, though I didn't realize it, because there was so much awesome. Just like anything in life, there's awesome and there's awful.
That's so true.
And then there was another. So at 8 is when I started really being impacted emotionally by what I was seeing with the over pet populated world. Like the pet population is out of control. There are people that are trying to help and save it, but they don't have enough resources. They're scrambling, they're giving everything, and it's just never enough, because there's always going to be a backyard breeder. There's always going to be people wanting to be greedy and make money off of these beautiful creatures that could really just help us heal and have such a better community and love about life. My other pillar was at 18. Whenever I went away to school and I was destined for greatness with a scholarship, and then I woke up one day and I thought I was having a heart attack, so I started crying. I had all of the symptoms. I went to the hospital. My blood pressure was double what it was supposed to be, and they kept telling me, I don't know how she's not having a stroke. I don't know how she's not having a stroke. Not even talking to me, but saying it about me in the room. And I'm sitting here thinking, I have a scholarship. I'm supposed to be a performer. How can you be a part of an ensemble if your brain's damaged from a stroke? What's happening? And that started a downward spiral of huge levels of chronic inflammation in my body that manifested in several diagnoses that I give no power to, and traumatized me quite significantly, because I was repeatedly told I wasn't going to walk by a certain age. I wasn't going to be alive by a certain age. And here I stand several years past when they said I would expire, because no one gets to determine my destiny. And every single soul needs to be treated as an individual. And the sooner this world gets to that light, the better off we will all be.
Amazing. So with that and the healing process and going through this entire journey, you have a dog that needs this healing.
Yeah.
Yourself needs healing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this within the blog, is that together you guys created something awesome. Hold that book back up again and let's see this. I mean, Pearl, the cute little Pittie, is part of this entire book. So share a little bit about what this book really means for you.
When I first went away to school, it was to do something creative. I had a scholarship for performance. I was a musical theater major. I was minoring in writing, and I wrote scripts and I wrote plays, and that all went away when I got sick and had to figure out how to heal. And then COVID hit, and I am recovering from repetitive injury, and I have this wonderful soul that we need to keep away from the rest of them until she could be acclimated. And so when I was myself laying there healing, I would talk to her and I would make sure she knew she was safe. And I needed somebody to tell me that I was going to be okay and that I was going to be safe. And I reached out to several people and learned very quickly who would show up for me when I needed somebody to talk to and who wouldn't. And the ones that showed up just really helped me process. I'm hurting. I'm alone. I'm with this wonderful dog. I just need someone to talk to. And they were there. And because of that power of friendship, I would talk to her. And I started bringing other people over to meet her. And so she understood, oh, people can be trusted. I like friends. Friends can help. Friends make me feel good. And so I said, let's write a story. And I would write it out loud. I would call some people. I would speak text it on my phone. I would ask her what she liked, what she didn't. And she loved all of it as long as she got a belly rub. But she just, for the first time ever, she was included and loved unconditionally and just got to decompress, surrounded by love and creativity and meeting people and listening to this unfold. And I used, the girls in my book are inspired by some of my preteen queens because I was a pageant director for 5 years in Illinois. And the one that's the lead, that's Becca's rescuer, she comes over all the time to see Pearl. She's realistically, other than myself and my husband, and she might be second to my husband, and then I'm third, Pearl is obsessed with Becca. And they've got this special, wonderful relationship that evolved while we were writing this book. So I made her her rescuer. And I wanted to throw in the scandal of the pit bull, the way that people have this preconceived notion of reactivity and aggressiveness. And she's just the sweetest thing. So she hops into the room when Becca's getting ready for the pool party. It's another queen's birthday. That's Alicia. And she thinks all the toys are for her. But Becca tells her, no, it's for kids. And she said, okay, well, I want to come too. And Becca said, I'm sorry, puppies can't come to pools. And some people might be scared of you because you're a pit bull. And then Pearl gets upset about that. Why wouldn't everyone love me? And then Becca gets upset about that because she just hurt her puppy's feelings by telling her the truth. And when she goes to the party, on her way, she has a conversation with her mom. While she's there, she has a conversation with her friends. She's open, she's vulnerable, she feels bad. And everyone helps save the day to make her day and Pearl's day even better with love.
It's so simple how love fills in the gaps,
Yes.
becomes the foundation.
Yes.
And when we allow it to wrap ourselves around in it, fear goes away.
Yes.
Gaps get closed.
Yes.
Communication happens, and there's an emotional healing. So it always comes back to this simplicity that's so hard to do. And that's something that can probably feel frustrating. But when we open ourselves and allow it to happen in the moments that it's happening, it can feel amazing. And we want to stretch those moments into weeks and months and years.
And ourselves.
Right. That concept of it being together. And part of that love, is forgiveness, right? Because Pearl is going to have a lot of fun and think, oh, great, this is an exciting time. And maybe, spills the water tray and the food's everywhere. Okay, now there's a mess. But one thing I think is interesting. So I work with kids with special needs. And I hope this comes across. Within their mindset, they do not wake up in the morning and think, I wonder how I can make your day awful. Oh, I've got a plan. And then they make a plan to make your day or your experience terrible. It doesn't work that way.
No, it
Animals
doesn't.
are the same. They do not wake up and say, I'm going to plot this today. They just don't.
No, they don't have souls for that.
They don't have that.
No, they don't. But sometimes they can't control the trauma or the reactivity or the fear. Fear is the main thing for a traumatized dog, for a traumatized kid. It's the main thing. It's the hardest thing to overcome. And a part of that fear is fear of forgiving yourself for whatever reason you think that you're not good enough. And then you've got to get past all of that and then say, okay, I've forgiven myself. I'm worthy of love. Now I've got to love myself, or my love's not going to be stronger, as strong as it could possibly be when I give it to others, if I'm making it weaker by giving none to myself.
Right. You've got to fill your cup, and then you can spill it over to so many.
Yes.
So I think it's really interesting that as you were recovering, you still extended yourself through recovery to someone that was still in need, this dog.
Yeah.
And I've just been studying recently about another person who extended themselves in just incredible pain and trauma within their own experience, still reaching within that point and still offering a bit of love to someone else. It seems like a small service, but really that's all in building relationships. Relationships are messy. Humanity's messy.
Yes.
Dogs are messy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe in lots of ways. But that concept, right? Because we're going to have a perspective that maybe they don't share, and vice versa. So how we break through that and communicate is really special. I think it's so fascinating that your husband went to meet a dog, and we don't know the whole backstory of the dog and what trauma was happened there, caused by a male, caused by female, caused by a combination. But you have to test, and he passed her test of acceptance.
Not only that, I have a picture of when she said, "You're my person." I didn't say a word because I knew it would be hard, and I just manifested, I'm open to it if she's meant to be ours. And he heard it. That's an amazing thing for me. I love my husband, that he was involved in this, that she said, "You're my person," and he received that energy and it stayed with him. And when my rescue showed up to evaluate her and I sent him a picture, "Yay, Christmas miracle," he said, "We've got to talk." And he says yes to everything I want to do. So I knew I was mom. It's a beautiful thing because he opened himself to a territory that he's never really been in, because he's always let me rehabilitate the dogs. He's done his part and everything he can to make sure that they have everything they need. But because they were so connected, he had to be involved in her healing much more than any of the others. And just like everything else in life, he stepped up in a big way. And I'm just so grateful for him.
It is beautiful. That concept of helping and reaching out to someone that cannot help themselves based on the circumstances and situations, and they have to depend on another. Yeah. It's a very vulnerable place to be. And I'm sure within this audience, people have been within that vulnerability themselves. And so we hope that bringing you this light from Miss Randi will help you to realize that this understanding of loving others, finding healing, keep searching and connecting, calling those friends for help. The possibility is there. And your hope and light can really open as well. And the result, you not only have one rescue dog. How many rescues do you have?
5.
And no kidding, when we opened up the conversation tonight before we went live, they're in the room, and I'm like, oh dear.
They
But
heard
so
a
cute.
voice they had never heard before, and they went nuts. A friend, and they're 5 pit bulls, and they heard a person's voice and barked because they wanted to be friends. I want you to remember that. If you're going to judge, which please don't, I want everyone to treat every creature and every person as the individual that they are. If you take anything away from this, other than the vulnerability, the having a partner, the sharing friends, really, really understand that if you are preconceived notioning anything, you're hurting yourself and potentially hurting another soul. And no one wants to hurt anyone intentionally.
No, not at all. So, Randi, I really appreciate your honesty, your vulnerability, this opportunity to go ahead and take a look at a Pittie Pool Party. A lot of there. And we're really excited. I'll hold it up there. So we can find this book on Amazon and also on your website. You can see running on the ticker underneath there, randimoxi.com. So go there or go to Amazon, grab yourself a copy of this book and share it out with many people that you have. Summertime is a beautiful time to read together with other people, to share this. Maybe you are a fur mom, right?
Yes.
And if you are, grab this, involve them, have some fun with it. And any grandparents out there who know that they have grandkids who just love to read, here's an opportunity to sit and to read together, making that summertime really open for more light and hope. Because as Becca discovered, through that love of her friendships and her mom, that the day was saved. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing. We love to have those hope and lightful books for all. So thank you so much for that.
A portion of proceeds go to animal rescue.
Oh, that is wonderful. What a great, I mean, that means so much to so many people to know that this is not only an uplifting book, but now that opportunity to help and uplift a creature that can't help themselves. Yeah. That is really, really meaningful. What a beautiful meaning for all of that. Oh, Randi, that is awesome. That's awesome. So again, we've got the book right there. Hold it up one more time. You can get it there at Amazon. You can go to her website and grab it there as well. And remember, it's about Pearl and how she and Randi went through this healing process together to really find that hope is possible, light is possible, love is possible. Everything's possible, guys. You got to just be open to it. Yeah. So, Randi, you want to share any last minute things before we close it up tonight?
I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for what you do to bring light to the world by sharing all of these wonderful stories, these wonderful artists, and what you do for others that need a hand up, that need a heart up, that need a light up. You're very inspiring, and I am truly honored to have been featured by your wonderful soul.
Oh, well, kiss fist on that. Made me cry. Thank you so much. And everyone, come and join us again next week. We are excited to always bring you great hope and light. And thank you, Randi, so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys. All right. Bye, everybody.